Hey there, in today's video, I'm going to share with you the 5 best things about living in Alpine, Utah in 2023, and I'm getting after it right now. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Greg Spackman. I'm with the Living in Salt Lake City channel. So if you want to learn everything about what it's like to live here, eat here, sleep here, play here, then please click the subscribe button and click the bell to be notified every time I do a new video. I've been getting a ton of people that are reaching out to me that are wanting to know more information or wanting to move here to the Salt Lake City, Alpine, Utah area, and I absolutely love it. So if that's you, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I've got your back days, nights, weekends if you're moving here to the Alpine, Utah area or Salt Lake area. And let's get into those 5 best things. So before I get into the 5 best things, I should give you a little overview just so you can see where Alpine is located in relation to Salt Lake City and Provo. So let me pull up the map just to give you a quick shot of it. And here we have the map open. You can see Alpine here highlighted in red. Salt Lake City is up here at the top. And it's right down I-15, and then you get off right here and take this out to Alpine. So, and then just down south here is Provo. So it's located almost halfway in between Provo and Salt Lake, probably a little closer to Provo than Salt Lake, but it is right there, and just wanted you to kind of see Alpine itself. Number 1 on the list, if you've been doing any sort of research online, you will have come to the same conclusion that I did, that the schools in Alpine, Utah are amazing. They have some of the best schools in all of Utah that are in Alpine, and you're going to have the different elementary, middle school, high school. A few of them are inside of Alpine, the other ones are in the surrounding cities. And so doing your research, you're going to find out that the schools are really, really good. And I'm going to touch on this more on the ratings when I go over that as number 4. So stick around so that I can give you more detail about that as well. Number 2 on the list is the annual Alpine Days celebration. And this includes a mountain bike race, an auto show, a carnival parade, fireworks. They even have a 5K race that you'll be able to enter. Every year this goes on in the summertime. This year it's going to be August 3rd through the 13th. So if you're going to be in town, that would be a great time to come and out and visit and see what that's all about. If you already live in the area, then you definitely could make that drive down there and check out what the annual Alpine Days celebration is all about. But it's super cool. And it's something that is special. They don't have that in every city where they have some sort of thing that goes on annually, but this does. And that's number 2 on the list. The number 3 best thing about living in Alpine, Utah is going to be how close it is to American Fork Canyon. This should be one of the biggest reasons that you're making that move to Alpine, not only due to the good schools and where it's located and stuff, but just the American Fork Canyon you're going to have. So you have the Tibble Fork Reservoir that's super, super close to you. And that's where this last summer, my sister and my brother-in-law came out to visit, and we took them fishing there. I caught some of the smallest trout ever that I've caught. I think it was like 9 inches, 2 of them. And anyhow, we had a great day out there fishing. There was even some people swimming in it, and it was pretty cold at the time. The water temperature there is not as warm as it is in some of the other lakes. However, we did see people swimming in it. We saw a couple of people on their paddleboard and even somebody in a canoe, which I don't see all that often, but that was super cool to see. You have the 4x4 area there that I go to all the time. There's this cool trail called the Rock Garden. Then there's supposed to be like a lake that's at the very top. Well, when we drove up there, there was no lake. It was just dry and everything. So due to our dry weather, drought conditions in Utah, that lake had dried up. I'm sure that this year, which I'll be going back there again to check it out, I'm sure that it has water in it this year. Wouldn't be probably good to fish at since it's brand new, back to being a lake again, but that was cool. You also have the Granite Flats campground that are nearby, right there by Tibble Fork. So on your way out the 4x4 trail, there's all these different campsites and places where people go to picnic, and that's super cool to see. And you can float tube down the lower Provo River, which is just below Deer Creek Reservoir. So it's a different canyon, but we went out there the first year we moved here, and my daughter wanted to do it for her birthday, so us and the nephews and nieces, we all got together and went out to the float tube area. When you do the float tube, you go to you buy your tickets online, and then you go to a certain area, then you ride the bus up the hill, and then when you get out, then you just grab your raft and float down the river. It takes about 2.5, 3 hours of just chill floating down the river. People bring their own coolers and that sort of thing and have their adult beverages while they're floating down the river. One interesting thing about floating in the river, you see all these fly fishermen, and for whatever reason, they seem to get upset when you float by, but it makes no sense since they know that you're going to be floating down the river, so they probably should fly fish somewhere else or just deal with the people floating by. But that was super fun, and I want to try fly fishing along that river this year, so hopefully I can get out there in the next month or two once it gets a little bit warmer, since it's still in the 40s and 50s, and I'm sure in the canyons it's even colder still. You have the Tippecanoes Cave National Monument, where you're going to be able to hike up to the caves and do that whole thing. So that's on our list to do this year as well. I think it's going to take you, a couple hours to do that. And I think the hike up is about a mile or so up to the top of it. And then you got to hike back. So know that there is some hiking involved in going to the National Monument there, but that would be something that you should do. And then there's super awesome views from that area, from the American Fork Canyon, all of that, just the views of when you're inside the canyon and then when you're outside the canyon looking at the canyon. It's super cool to look at. In the fall, the leaves all change colors, and there's some really cool drives that you can do through the canyon to see all the leaves, and that's out American Fork Canyon. So know that if you're doing it when the leaves change, you got like a 2, 3, 4 week window when you can see the leaves. Sometimes it's shorter than that. Sometimes it's longer, but there will be massive traffic. So plan accordingly. You drive like 3 miles an hour. The little 1.5 2-mile trek that you're going to do should take you, 10 minutes. If we did it like right now, it'll take you over an hour, but it's worth it for sure to do that. Number 3 on the list, American Fork Canyon. It's super awesome. Lots of hiking, fishing that you're going to be able to do, camping you're going to be able to do, mountain biking, RVing, just everything that you want to be able to do is out American Fork Canyon, and that is right there where you're located. Niche.com gives it an overall rating of A, and A for the public schools, which we touched on a little bit earlier about it having excellent schools. B- for housing. A is good for families. A is for jobs. C- for cost of living due to the housing prices. A for outdoor activities. Really should be an A+ because of American Fork Canyon and all that you get to do there. They don't list crime and safety. As far as other sites that I've gone to for crime and safety, it's rated really good for crime. B- for nightlife. Really, that's more like a C. You're going to be going elsewhere for nightlife. You're not going to get much nightlife in Alpine. C+ for diversity. A B for weather. A+ for health and fitness, which they got that one right. And then B- for commute. Here we go, the other rankings, and that's rated number 6 in the entire state of Utah as far as suburb with the best public schools. It's rated number 7 as the best place to raise a family in Utah, and it's rated number 11 as the best place to live in Utah. And that's probably why you're looking at Alpine, is because of these great rankings and ratings that it has, top 10 ratings for most of the stuff. The rest of these ratings are Utah. Once again, number 6 with best public schools, number 7 to raise a family, number 11 the best place to live in Utah, number 15 is the best place to raise a family in Utah, number 32 is the best suburb for young professionals, number 33 the best place to live in Utah, and then number 66 the best place for young professionals. Those are the ratings that you're going to find. You can look at a bunch of different websites to give you ratings. Every client that I've helped look or move to Alpine, Utah has absolutely loved the location, loved the people there, loved everything about it, and are still living there or are planning to move there at some point in the future. And the number 5 best reason to move to Alpine, Utah is some of the parks that are there. And you're going to be able to enjoy going to the different parks if you're a park person, but just know that they have some really cool parks that are there that you're going to be able to explore and take your kiddos to and that sort of thing, or just walk. but there's lots of like walking trails as well in Alpine. So you'll be able to do walking. And then you got of course, you got the American Fork Canyon for all the more extreme hiking or just even more nature, bird watching, that sort of thing. That's number 5 is the parks. Giving you a bonus thing today on Alpine, Utah, and that's its location. I already touched with the very beginning part, but here's that map again of where it's located in relation to Salt Lake City and Provo, Utah. And it's a great spot where it's at. It's tucked up against the mountains, so it gets a little bit more snow than you would get in some of the other cities, but it's got a great location as far as where it is. And you're in Utah County, which may be a plus for you if you've done some research on what Utah County is versus Salt Lake County. But it's in Utah County, but almost in Salt Lake County. You're 10 minutes to Draper, which then is in Salt Lake County. Hopefully you've made it this far and you're still wanting to move to Alpine, Utah. Well, if that's you, please give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I'd love to talk to you more about getting you moved here and all about Alpine, Utah. So until next time, be rad.